free world.
Yeah. My hitters be moving and shaking to stay out the streets. Yeah. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so weak. Yeah. My hitters be moving and shaking to stay out the streets. Your hitters be
Hail to the culture. Welcome back, Redskins fans, for another episode. We got a big game this weekend. Skins looking for their first win. And, of course, like every week in Redskins Nation, we've got some injuries to alert you about. Rome, what up, bro?
What's up, man? So let's get to it. Inactives are going to be Chase Roulier, and Jordan Reed is going to be out for a fourth straight week. Jay Gruden also mentioned that it's very likely Colt McCoy will also be inactive. And there's two big game-time decisions we got to get to. One, Terry McLaurin, and two, Brandon Sheriff. Real quick, my thoughts on Terry McLaurin being out is it's not as big as some people may think. Obviously, he's been playing very well, and it's a big deal. But if you're looking at the Giants' defense and their secondary, they're not very threatening, and neither is their pass rush, really. So guys like Trey Quinn, Kevin Hallman, they're all going to get a chance to step up and make some big plays. Look for Robert Davis to also be very involved in the offense. Bryce, what are your thoughts on Brandon Sheriff if he can't go?
Yeah, man, well, as all our listeners know, I've been pretty rough on the right side of the line. That's Brandon Sheriff, and that's Morgan Moses. Like you said, man, Giants' pass rush isn't too much to be worried about, but they do got some young guys that are pretty hungry in the middle, namely the rookie Dexter Lawrence out of Clemson. And I would love to have Brandon Sheriff in that game to secure the inside. Although to this point, the right side of the line hasn't lived up to the billing. I think this New York game is the perfect game to get them back on track, especially going against a young interior line like the Giants have.
Daniel Jones, a.k.a. Danny Dimes, the legend is growing. He won his first game starting for the New York Giants, and the hype train is well on its way. It has left the station. I think that everyone needs to pump the brakes a little bit. Daniel Jones was impressive, yes, against Tampa Bay, but it was Tampa Bay. Bryce, did you get to catch any of that game? And if you did, what were your thoughts on Daniel Jones' performance?
Yeah, I did get to catch some of it, man. I think Daniel Jones is performing a lot better than most people probably would have thought when he was taken with the sixth pick. I think here at Hail to the Culture, we've kind of always known that Daniel Jones could ball a little bit. We did think Haskins was a better prospect, but we never were too down on Jones. I think for the Redskins to contain him, man, they're definitely going to have to bring that pass rush. That outside pass rush will be important, especially with a mobile quarterback like Jones. Although he's played well, he did give some opportunities for the defense, which in the Bucs case, they dropped an easy pick that they probably could have taken to the house if they caught it. So there will be opportunities. Daniel Jones will give the defense opportunities.
Yes, absolutely. And I was going to mention that pick, and he also had 2 fumbles in that game. It was a little bit more so Tampa losing it than Daniel Jones winning it. Not to take away from his impressive performance, that he did make some clutch throws here and there, but he also gave up some plays and gave the defense opportunities. So this could be a chance for Washington to bounce back, especially since there will be no Saquon Barkley, as we all know, this week.
Yeah, no doubt. Washington will have to take advantage of that. One thing Daniel Jones is not afraid to do is he's not afraid to chuck the ball deep. So those outside corners, they got to be ready for the challenge.
Absolutely. We will find out if Danny Dimes is legit.
As always, Redskins versus Giants is a huge rivalry game, but this one, it adds a little more onto it for a couple of our players, namely Landon Collins and Eric Flowers, two of pretty high draft picks for the Giants that they decided they were better off without. Rome, what do you think about Landon Collins in this Giants game, man? How big of an impact can he have?
Man, all you guys that have been listening to the pod know that I've been waiting for Landon Collins to have a bigger game. He's had a quietly good season so far, but I'm looking for it to be loud. I want to see him make some big plays against New York. He mentioned this week that he's going to have to keep his emotions in check. I'm kind of hoping he lets them go wild a little bit and light somebody up, get this team, this defense energized, maybe come up with a big turnover. And I know he wants to beat the Giants in New York real bad, and the Redskins need this game real bad. So I'm hoping both those things come true. What are your thoughts about Eric Flowers as well, though, because we know how his time in New York went, and he's doing pretty well here in Washington, so I'm sure he wants to have a big performance. And you've been hyping him up a lot, so I'm sure you got a lot to say right now.
Oh, no doubt, man. Eric Flowers, in my opinion, has been the MVP of the offensive line, and that is kind of crazy to think about what most fans and probably people inside of the organization thought about Eric Flowers when he was first signed. One thing I would keep an eye on is negotiating a contract at the moment. Reports say it's up to $13 million. Don't be surprised if at the end of the season, Eric Flowers getting an extension from the Redskins himself.
Okay, now we are going to break down our keys to the game versus the New York Giants. I'm going to start it off with my offensive key to the game. Washington has to run the ball with Adrian Peterson. I want to see this man get about 15 to 20 carries. He hasn't gotten more than 12 so far, and we need him to be productive. Hit these holes hard. No more cutting back, trying to find something that's not there. Trust your blockers and let it happen. We need a big game out of AP. Bryce, what do you want to see from the offense when they go up to New York?
Well, I think one of the major keys for the offense in New York will be to push the ball downfield. The Giants secondary it doesn't strike fear in anybody. I mean, they've got a 35-year-old Antoine Bethea at free safety who can be taken advantage of. So we got to get to that. Terry McLaurin's looking like his hamstring is not that big of a deal, so hopefully he's able to go. And if he is, I need to see at least 2 to 3 deep balls going his way, and even a couple going to Paul Richardson too.
Yeah, absolutely. So now let's jump to the defensive side of the ball. My key to the game for the defense is do not give up any big plays. Do not let Danny Dimes really become a legend. Really, I'm looking at Josh Norman because the trend this season has been over the head of Josh Norman falling on his face while somebody makes a spectacular catch for a touchdown. So I need that trend to end this game. No big plays in the passing game. Do not let Daniel Jones become the real Danny Dimes.
Yeah, man, I agree with you 100%. And one way we can limit big plays in the passing game is to have a big-time pass rush. We need Montez Sweat and we need Kerrigan to both have big games. But most of all, we need them to stay awake during the entire play. Because Daniel Jones is more athletic than he looks. He can extend plays. The last thing we need is a quarterback running back there until one of his wide receivers pops wide open. This game upcoming against the Giants is huge, and we're going to need some players to show up big if we're going to get this W. Rome, man, who's your key player on offense that you'll be watching this week?
Man, my key player that I'm going to have my eyes on is one Case Keenum. He had as we all know, he had a 5-turnover performance on primetime on Monday night, and everyone who's a Redskin fan anywhere and anyone who knows anything has been saying put Dwayne Haskins in. So the cries are getting louder and louder. Case Keenum needs to have a big bounce-back game. My eyes will definitely be on him.
Yeah, man, I think you're right about that. And one guy that could definitely make Case Keenum's life a little bit easier is wide receiver Trey Quinn out of the slot. Everybody's going to be keying in on Terry McLaurin now. It's a known fact that he's a legit deep threat. So we got to have a guy pick him apart underneath. Hopefully, Trey Quinn can be that guy. On the defensive side, Roman, we're going to finally have to stop a team. Giants got a rookie quarterback. We should be able to stop them. Who are you going with for your key player on D?
Man, I don't know if you guys seen the interview or not after the Monday night game with Jonathan Allen, but if you're a Redskin fan, I would definitely check it out. He had me fired up. I was ready to suit up after listening to him. But I want to see him show up big time on the field, not just talking on the mic. I mean, he does great interviews, and I believe him. I believe him when he says, talent doesn't win games. So I'm hoping that he can show up, make some plays, and get these guys behind him in this game. Who are you going to be looking at on the defensive side?
I'll be keying in on anybody guarding tight end Evan Ingram. So that will be our middle linebackers, and sometimes might just be slot corner Jimmy Moreland. Evan Ingram's been going off this year, nearly averaging 100 yards a game. Been essentially the top tight end in the league so far. Redskins have had trouble with tight ends in the past. It'll be a big point of emphasis to stop this guy.
Okay, so let's talk score predictions. We've talked a lot about all the players to watch and all that good stuff. But, Bryce, how do you see this game going? Washington doesn't have a good track record up in New York. They've lost a lot of games that they probably should have won. So what are you thinking about this one?
Well, Vegas has been going back and forth between about 48 and 49 points. So they think it's going to be big points put up in this game. And I'm on the side with them, man. I see this being a high-scoring game. I think the Redskins do win the game. I'm going to go with 31-27 Skins.
Oh, I like that. I'm going Redskins win 27-24. I think Landon Collins or somebody on the defense will make a big play late and stop a potential Daniel Jones comeback. I think Washington's going to get out to an early lead in this one, and they're going to feed AP and try to ride that wave. We'll see a little bit of Danny Dimes try to make a comeback, but Landon Collins, Jonathan Allen, somebody's going to step up and end it, and the Washington Redskins will get their first win. And the next time you hear from us, it'll be a victory pod, finally, for the first time in damn near a year.
Boy, I hope so.
Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so weak. My hitters be moving and shaking to stay out the streets. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so. Snuff the shooter, snuff the looter, snuff the booster, snuff the money mover. Snuff the hater, snuff the player, snuff your hairline, tape up and shape up. Snuff the shooter, snuff the looter, snuff the booster, snuff the